Good evening, everybody. We are coming at you live from the Liminal Pines. I am your host, Alan. Hello, that is my name. It's 4 letters, not five. It's not 5 letters, it's 4 letters. Good evening, everybody. Today we are going to be doing, as the title of the stream suggests, we're going to be doing some digital art because I recently acquired a little drawing tablet, and I've been working with a free program called Krita, and I don't know much about it. Well, I know some about it, but I know enough to do very basic things. So one of the things that I wanted to start trying to get comfortable with is line art because I want to be able to use digital art as a tool to expand my horizons with my traditional artwork. And that could range from importing a scan of an already inked piece that I already have and doing some cleanups on it. And I would need to know how to do line art, good line art for that, obviously. Secondly, I could also just take sketches that I do traditionally or digitally, and I need to know how to do line art over them in a way that I find visually appealing. So today we're going to be doing just a few, nothing too crazy. Sorry, my cat is over here being a little butt. This is my cat. His name is Pepper. Pepper, say hi. He's a little butt. Okay, he is a little butt. Look, he's biting me. Ah. He's trying to get in all my stuff. That's what he likes to do. Good evening, Lizard Wizard. But yeah, so we are going to be doing just some. We're just gonna be doing some. We're gonna be doing some just like. It's all digital, of course. We're gonna be doing some pencil layer sketches, and then we're gonna try and do some line art on top of that. And we're gonna be doing just kind of because I will find it more comfortable to start out with. We're kind of just gonna be doing the kind of sketches that you would see in my normal sketchbook. So they'll be fun, quick, simple, easy. So but first, of course, I always have to show you what I have been doing over the past week. So we are going to take a peek at the past week's sketchbook pages, and then because this was a suggestion from one of my lovely subscribers who is in the chat right now. This was a suggestion from one of my subscribers, or I guess it's something that we both came up with in order to maintain the spirit of the channel that we have established up until now. I'm going to be doing just a quick little warm-up sketch in the sketchbook traditionally, and then we are going to move on to the digital art aspect. So just so I can prove to you that I still know how to use an actual pen, that my hands actually work, that my hands work. So we're going to be doing that. Not that traditional streams are going to disappear. They are always a potential. It just depends how I'm feeling. And currently, I'm feeling like I need to learn how to do some digital art. Or I need to learn how to get better at it, at the very least. So without further ado, I'm going to pop this camera down so we can take a look at the sketchbook and get our warm-up sketch out of the way. In the meantime, please tell me how you've been doing. Tell me about the things you've been watching, reading, playing. I would like to hear about it. I think that would be that would be a good way to fill the time, I think, because I'm just gonna be rambling right now, and that way you won't be able to look at my ugly ass face up this close. Look at all the blemishes that I have just because I get stressed. Yeah, that's right. I get stressed. Wait, how do I get stressed? No, that's that. that is the ending where the stream is not over. Okay. Well, since I don't really have a show and tell necessarily for this week, I'm gonna tell you what I have been listening, watching to, things of that nature. I recently watched this neat little movie, this animated film called Flow, which is about, it's kind of this, there's no human characters, which, oh my goodness, I, whenever there's a movie that like doesn't have human characters and they like fully rely on the cast of anthropomorphized uh like animals and such, I jump for joy. Anyways, this movie is about like a cat and there's like a flood or whatever, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. But then I went and I read reviews for it online, and I think that I had a fundamentally different understanding of the plot than most people did, and I just like I feel like I did not watch the same movie as some people. That's my bad. Using a warm up traditional is smart because if you zoom in, it doesn't really become a warm up. Yeah, zoom in. No, I get what you mean. Yeah, you're right. I'm trying with the digital stuff. You can see a post on the YouTube YouTube post section. I was doing some just some exercises. I was drawing some shapes. I did not zoom in at all for those. I understand the importance of like viewing your artwork as a whole and working on it as a whole, and that's a habit I'm trying to build for myself before I sort of like fall the other way. But yeah, definitely working traditionally does uh, help maintain that aspect, that fundamental or that it helps maintain that fundamental aspect that traditional art will always have, is that you're always looking at it in its totality, or you should be at the very least. um this right here is my sketchbook, and this right here is the Pilot Kakuno. This is the pen we are going to be sketching with today, and I have it filmed, and I have the rough edit of it done, but I recorded a little short showing how to refill the cartridge on this pen, because when I first got it, I was so confused on how the refillable cartridge on this thing worked. So I was like, if I was confused, maybe someone else was, and that's an opportunity to make something. Yeah. We'll pop. I don't know where we're gonna pop in the book, in the old book. I don't know where we were last time. Yeah, I'd say that this is a good place to start. Of course, the drink of choice today is oh dear, the drink of choice today is some decaf coffee, because I cannot have caffeine this late in the day, or else I will not be able to sleep well. That's it. Ignore that. But yeah, so these sketches are here. Of course, we have some expressions. Nothing too nothing too fancy. This right here, I do. Of course, there are bits of it that I'm not happy about, but I'll always appreciate just some nice hard comic booky cat shadows. Get out of here! My cat is in here causing a ruckus. Here we have just some buildings for this one. Just trying to show off that 3-point perspective, you know, because you got vanishing point here and here. We also have one that's up here, and that's why these lines will converge up there. And here, yeah, people last week saw this page. This is a vomit page. We all know that I experience these like sort of like sketch vomit pages occasionally, where I kind of just like, I don't know what to draw, and maybe I'm just not feeling like drawing, but I'm like, I need to draw something, so I just do this. And then of course we have a little poser here, and I like the even though it's based off of a reference photo, I think the composition of this is nice, because you got this triangle thing going on, and the hands being so close and the same size as the head does a good amount to emphasize it's like how close it is to the camera. I think that's fun. Poetry, lame. Some more. I was trying to do Loomis method. So these are following Loomis method proportions. These two are good, and this one's not so good, because I always have an issue in the 3/4 perspective, and I think a lot of people do as well. So if you struggle with that, drop a like in the comments. We have just another. I like doing these little fish angle sketches. They're very fun to do, even if the trajectories of this don't line up exactly. I think doing a little fish angle, it helps you break out of your comfort zone. Maybe not pay as much attention to structure and maybe pay a bit more attention to things like scale and positioning of things relative to one another. It's a sticker I got from a booth that I went to at a farmer's market. Check out Super Saiyan E right there. If you like this sticker, this is Power from Chainsaw Man. And here we have some more fisheye portraits. You can tell they're fisheye because you have wildly exaggerated large features at the center of the lens, and then they sort of start to shrink as they get away, so you get this crazy foreshortening, which can be very fun. Same with this right here. You see, like, the nose and the mouth are closer to the camera, and everything else away kind of just starts to shrink. Here we have some. This is. I was like, I'm just gonna draw some silhouettes. So I drew some silhouettes. This is a baseball player. This is a person with like their hand on their head. It's another sort of fisheye. I don't think it's exactly fisheye, but it's like the camera is above the person. And no, I just thought, I was like, okay, let's find some striking silhouettes and see the shapes that we can see within them. Like there's a triangle there, and sort of you got this as an interesting shape. Here we have just a sketch of just a woman, a lady. This is a gesture sketch. I haven't done sort of gesture warm-ups in a while, so this was odd to do, and like I always like go back and forth on whether or not I've improved with like doing gestural sketches. Then I do this and I'm like, maybe not. We have, I don't know if this is like a mobster or something. Oh wait, no wait, these are both Colin Farrell, I believe. This one is done with a pencil sketch, and this one is just, I was freeballing it. They're both supposed to be Colin Farrell, though. This is Anne Hathaway from Les Mis. She's not crying in the reference photo, but I was like, I did not capture her pained, sad expression well enough, so I was like, I need to draw some tears on her. I was like, I need to make her look more sad. And here's a person screaming. I like this one. I think this one has a good amount of dynamicism going on with it. Here we have a sketch. This is a freehand sketch too, so there is no penciling underneath this. I need to get the next sketchbook. I'm gonna practice more freehand stuff just because I want to draw more stuff in public, and I'm gonna have to get good at that. That is a sketch of this plant that I have. You can sort of see it. It was sitting on the table, but it was leaning to the other side. It was more like this over here. You saw a little bug flying around over there. Yeah, I killed. Well, it's not dead yet, but it was a lot more up top and straight when I had gotten it. So hopefully I can revive it. It's because I forgot to water it. I just got it. We have so many plants in our place. Here we have another vomit page. This is Josh Hutcherson, I believe. You seen this one on Discord? Oh yeah, this one on Discord. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. This is a good plug for the Discord, fellas. If you're not aware, there is a Discord for this YouTube channel, and over there, I am posting just snippets of whatever I'm drawing. Not everything, but just whenever I feel like it, whenever I can, and I encourage others to do the same. There's a couple channels on there for if you want to do critique, you could do critique. If you just want to share without like getting much input, there's a channel for that. So please, there's a post about it on the YouTube channel, and I'll try and remember to link the Discord in the description of this stream here. So go check that out. And here we have the final page, and here's where we're going to be doing our sketch. This is a freehand sketch. This is also a freehand sketch. Vomit. A bunch of vomit there. And here is I drew it twice, and the reason is because you can see down here, I completely flipped the trajectory of this shape right here, because this is essentially a giant rectangle, right? And you expect one face, corner, one face. Well, it's like, all right, you got the edge of the rectangle right there, and the other edge should be right here. But then you go here, and you're like, oh, there's a face there. But then if you draw the line down, I'm like, wait a minute, this bottom one, it should be right here because it needs to have posts on either side, or else this would just be a like a one-dimensional wall. We can't have that. So that was my bad. And the sad thing is that I did a pencil sketch underneath it. So how I did not catch that while I was doing any of this and until afterwards, I have no idea. So I went through and I did a freehand sketch in order to rectify that. And in a way, I kind of enjoyed this one a bit more just because it's a bit rougher. And I was trying to play around with like line thicknesses and such. That's it's not perfect, obviously, because it's just like a short little sketch, but it's like, you know, lines that are further away from the camera, maybe they don't connect all the time and they're thinner, and things that are closer or on the edge, even whenever need be to emphasize a silhouette, they can be a little bit darker. Then, yeah, that's what I was doing there. And that concludes our sketchbook tour up until this point. We're going to be moving on to the next sketchbook soon. I have, of course, 1, 2, 3, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages left. 3 if you just count like the page being a page, but there's 6 like blank things of page left. So we're getting really close, and that means I'm also getting really close to having to make another video doing a sketchbook tour. The last one took me forever. Hopefully this one will not take me as long. All right. I'm going to pull up a little reference image real quick. For the little freehand sketch that we are going to do in this box here. So if you could please just give me a moment. I will find that image and we will get started. Always, I really like drawing ruins. We all know that. One thing I want to I want to do more studies of like because I have my Ghibli art books over here. I want to look and take some inspiration from those, because some of the concept art for those books is absolutely phenomenal, immaculate, what have you. They're just so very good. I think I found the image that I want to use. And of course, have the thing pulled up. Okay. Uh, I've also been listening this past week, taking a little bit of a break from Lord Huron, and by a break I mean just like I don't listen to it all the time every single day. But I've been listening to some other artists that I enjoy. So that includes artists like Bon Iver, Brockhampton is one that I've been into. They got some really good songs. Gorillaz. I'll always really like me some Gorillaz. This is one artist that I really enjoy, and they don't make music anymore under the same moniker, at the very least. But it's called Candy Claus. They have an album called Ceres and Calypso in the Deep Time, which is just a very good album, and I've been listening to it like in full and on repeat for the past week. Okay, let's cut the BS and start doing ourselves a little sketch. Why won't we? I need to pull this up larger on my actual thing. So first thing that I want to do, I guess, is just I want to get the perspective on this down. So I see that we have, this is sort of like leaning this way, I can tell, even though it is a semicircle that's a bit crumbled, we can still tell that slightly. And I also kind of want to emphasize the the 3 point perspective of it. So we're gonna try and as we move outward, we're gonna bring our lines, our vertical lines out a little bit. And something with this, we know that this is gonna go, it's roughly about the same size in proportion to that. So we're gonna do that there. We know that's gonna curve out a little bit like that. It's maybe not as long. There's multiple steps, but I don't need to do anything. That right there. Then for the rest of this, maybe I need to bring this down a little bit more. One thing I like, a lot of artists that I see, they have an impressive understanding of scale. You know what I mean? They're really able to do a fantastic job displaying, using like proportion and size and everything to just like show off like scale, like how close the camera is to certain features. And I really admire that, and it's something I always want to practice on. Wait, you know what you're talking about? They have that one popular song. I think the name was Pangea Girls. Yeah, that song is amazing. Wait, did they? I didn't realize that they were. I mean, obviously they would. They have a fair amount of monthly listeners on Spotify, but I don't know. I've never heard anybody talk about. I'm honestly surprised that you were able to pick up uh on their name just like that. But yeah, they do. Currently, I believe they are in a new band called Sound of Series. So the project still lives on. It's always popping on Spotify. It's a really, yeah. I mean, so it definitely, that song did get recommended to me like through like Spotify, like it wasn't purely me. So see it happening to other people. It's an amazing album. I recommend you listen to the in full. It really is one of those albums that you just have to listen to, uh, like in totality. I feel like the effect of it is just it's compounded when you do that, especially for that album. It's really cool that you've heard of it before. Hmm. All right, we got some janky business going on here. That's okay because we're gonna. See, angles are always difficult because sometimes something can look like it's angled upwards when in reality it just isn't. It simply isn't. So it's like you really gotta pay attention to what is going on, because if you don't, you'll end up with a straight line, a vertical line where you don't really want there to be one, or not where you're planning on there to be one. There's just one shape that's like popping up here that I'm a little confused by. I'm gonna represent it with that right there, but don't mistake that as me saying I know exactly what's going on there. Because it's got like this, like, it's sort of everything's coming down on the sides here, and maybe this isn't a perfect one-to-one, but it's as close as we're gonna get, especially when we're doing it freehand. Then the trajectory of this sort of comes up. One thing to note in perspective is the further away that you move from your horizon line, up or down, your of course things flatten when you get close to your horizon line. So that means as they get further away, if it's like an ellipses, you're gonna start to see more of its bottom face, and it's gonna become more circular. If it is a circle, that is, it's gonna become more circular as it moves away from you. So that is something to keep in mind, and it can be very difficult to remember that, especially when you have so many other things that are going on in the noggin. See, I don't want to create too much visual anything really. I want to start trying like maintain what little bit of comprehensiveness that we have going on here. Comprehensibility, comprehensibility, if that's a thing you could say. I'm trying to maintain that here. Hmm. One thing I like to do whenever I'm drawing like windows or something, especially if it's from a lower angle, I really love to like I love to darken up these little areas that are on the above to show that there's like a lip or like a shadow, and it gives it so much three dimensionality. I love that the way it looks. I remember you having a fountain pen with a nib that's curved on purpose. Why aren't you using it? Actually, better question. When is it best to use it? Yeah, that's the Fude de Menin, or it just means like Fude tipped. Fude means brush. Uh, yeah. The green pen. Yeah, this is from the Sailor brand. Um, its uses are very. It depends. It really does depend. Somewhere that I did use it, I'll show you. I did use it with this sketch right here, and it was mainly for these large black fills. Mainly just because this ink has some good ink flow for like filling in larger areas that like the thinner tips don't have. Another reason why I'm not using it here, and it varies, uh, because I'm working with like something that's like a bit more rigid. In this case, we're working with like architecture. I'm refraining from using this because this pen is really good for dynamic lines. That's not to mean that you can't have dynamic lines with something like this, of course. By all means, you can make it dynamic. It's just this is good for dynamic, like organic lines. So things that are sort of very sweeping. And so you'll see a lot of people they'll use the fude whenever they're doing like portraiture. Of course, I don't really have anything in here, but I mean, I guess this isn't really an example. But like, if you need to have a drastic change from like thin to thick within like a single swooping line, that's where you want this. It emphasizes that dynamicism. And again, you can achieve that with a regular pen. It's just you have to go over it a few times. So you'll see me, I believe I used it for these sketches right here, and you can make this thin and thick. It's just it's sometimes it's easier to maintain a consistent line width whenever you have just one width to work with. So that's why sometimes you'll see me like I think for these ones right here, these eye sketches. I don't know if you can see this. Can you see this? Yeah, for these eye sketches right here, I was using this right here, and so you can sort of see how there's a variety of thickness. So like it's really good for like emphasizing like line weight. So like whenever I do portraits when they're like a bit larger benefit the best from this. Again, it depends on the size you're working with. Like for something this small, I don't need to have crazy thick lines that this offers. And I think like whenever you're working with things like architecture, you kind of want to have some thin fair lines. If that makes sense. I think it helps to sort of like give impressions better than it is to sort of like show off like crazy dynamicism. That's like sort of the vibe that I get from fountain pens, or the or for that specific fountain pen. Hope that answers your question. I do like using that pen though, the Fude. It was a good pen for the larger sketchbook that I had, though that sketchbook was not the best in terms of like actual uh, like paper. Like it wasn't really good, the best for pens, but it was still pretty good. I'm getting worked up in the details here, which I shouldn't be, so I'm going to try and get away from these as quickly as I can. If you are ever interested in a fountain pen, though, I 100% recommend getting a Fude tipped pen, mainly because it does sort of like, if you've ever worked with any sort of brush pen, it kind of forces you to think a bit differently and be a bit more tactical about your lines, like your line placements. And if you're wondering why I placed the horizon, or I guess what it would be, the vertical horizon, like right here, pretty much, it's just because like whenever you're working with like photographs, that is that is your picture plane. There's not a lot of like funny business going on with there's not a lot of funny business going on with like where you're placing your horizons. Um, so, or at least your like vertical horizon. So it's always going to be like in the center of the frame. A lot of the time, you can play around with that, of course, and it depends on if you have your it's like rotated or not. But I'd say like for like simplicity's sake, just place it in around like the center of the frame. That's what works best for me. This is just like a little wall. There's not much going on here, but there is this cool little window here. I'm trying to do like thin lines up here, and then we can do thicker lines down here because we know there's a bit of shadow. It's gonna be coming around, and we can do the same over here. It's like, oh, we can have thick full lines, and then like once we get around to the top, it's like, oh, we can get a little bit more thin and wispy. And I think what I want to do is I think I'm gonna go through, and this might be an issue as we see, but I think I want to bring this, since it's not in the background, but it's like it's behind the rest of this, so I kind of want to show that that's sort of away from all of this right here. And then there's technically nothing behind this right here, so we're just gonna go through and show that there's like a something there. Lizard says, except for the pen you're using now, will there be more sorts of recommending pens or materials in general? I need to sort of like take a what is the word? I need to take account of all of the materials that I have, and I need to sort of decide which ones I want to sort of show off. Like I do have like a brush pen that I use that's like a thicker brush pen. I could show that off. I I have quite a few pencils that I use, and I think it would be nice to sort of like say like, oh, it's like, why do I use uh, each of them? So yeah, there's a few things that I want to show off. It of course it's just like when do when will I find any of that? Like when will I feel like doing any of that? Like I have like a light board. I want to show off the light board. I think the light board is a really cool traditional tool that you can use, especially when it comes to sort of like inking and whatnot. So I want to show that off at some point, and I want to get another fountain pen at some point. I want to do that. I also really want to get uh, another color of ink. I've been eyeing this sort of this like gray ink uh, that this company the pen that I have right now is using the De Atramentis archival ink, and I think the next ink that I get is going to be from them as well. But it is like a it's called like urban gray, and sort of like a greenish gray, and I think that would help to sort of like maybe give some sketches a bit more dimension. So look out for that. Of course, I'll let you guys know whenever I decide to get those things. Of course, if any of you have any recommendations as to art supplies, go hop in the Discord and uh, pop in and say what you're working with. It could be anything from like pencils, pens, paints, sketchbooks. Hey, I could always use some sketchbook recommendations. I really want to try a bunch of different ones out. So please go hop in there and say what's up. We're doing a lot of shilling for the Discord. I spend a lot of time on the rocks down here and like the texturing, but I don't really feel like it's important to the overall like vibe of what's going on here. So we're gonna show little sprigs of grass here and there. Okay. I think that's good enough for now. Again, this is just like a little warm-up sketch. I don't want to spend too much time on it. Sometimes the little ones that I like take a short amount of time to sketch end up being my favorite ones. So maybe that's what's gonna happen with this one right here. You never know. For some reason, you find sketchbooks where the ring closure more comfortable. I do too. It depends. It depends. By ring closure, do you mean like a spiral? Like let me. Do you mean like a spiral sketchbook like this right here? Because if that's the case, as far as like having like a work surface, yeah, it's great because you can fold back one page, and you know what I mean. It's like you can fold back a page and have a flat surface to work on. And like with a regular sketchbook, this is like a flatter sketchbook, obviously. Yeah, yeah, this is a flatter sketchbook, obviously. So like the issue isn't as prevalent. But with some other sketchbooks, like the Moleskines, they don't lie completely flat. You know, I have a Bristol board sketchbook, and that one sort of had a tendency to sort of, once you got to the center of the textbook, maybe the pages would start to bend a little. My only issue with the spiral sketchbooks is that like I don't know. Having a bound sketchbook, it feels like it's a bit more like sturdy, you know, like pages don't get caught on the rings. I don't like having even like the opportunity to tear out pages because I don't like tearing out pages from my sketchbook. I kind of want it all to stay in there because it's like if I need paper, I am going to get it from somewhere else. So it's like preferential wise, I'd rather just have a bound sketchbook. And I also like I think the bound sketchbook looks a bit more. I mean, this is just a personal. This is just a me thing. But I don't know, the bound sketchbook looks a little bit more professional. If I ever feel like if I'm like out in public and someone sees the bound sketchbook, they're like, "Oh, this guy is a serious artist. He uses serious tools, like a sketchbook that looks like an actual book, not one of those baby spiral bound sketchbooks." When in reality, I think that no one thinks that. They probably just like see me drawing and they're like, "Oh, cool." And then they forget I ever exist. There we go. And you gotta erase the border because it's a cool thing to do. And Spiral Sketchbook is more try-hardy, like the regular sketchbook. It feels like you can take anywhere and has more vibes. Yeah, it's a vibes thing. And like as an artist, of course, I'm always chasing the vibes of whatever it is. So I'm trying to maintain an image here. Okay, I can't be walking around with a little baby, little spiral bound sketchbook. That being said, I mean, I have spiral bound sketchbooks that I use like for my own my own use. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh boy, I can like I'll use the spiral bound sketchbooks at home, and it's like if it's a spiral bound, I have no attachment to it, so I'm like, okay, I can beat it up a little bit more. Like with these, like I beat them up, but like I try and like take a bit better care of them. Okay, that was a lot of fun. Let's go ahead and let's switch over. I'm gonna switch over and get my drawing set up ready. In the meantime, um, I don't know what you're gonna do in the meantime. In the meantime, you know what? In the meantime, you can just look at what we're gonna be doing right here, and I'm gonna go to my thing right here. No. I'm gonna get things situated. I never know how big to make. I know I can make presets in OBS, the streaming software. Um, but geez, I'm so stubborn. I refuse to learn new things unless they benefit me in the moment. Wait, what I said just makes no sense. You can take Spiral Sketchbook anywhere too. I don't know how to explain it, but it feels more portable. No, with the bound sketchbook, it doesn't get caught on stuff. You know, if you put it in a bag, sometimes the spirals tend to get like caught on things. The bound sketchbook slips nicely into like sort of like bags. They don't like chafe against the hands. I have that issue with spiral bound sketchbooks. It's like if I'm carrying it around, it's like sort of the hand feel isn't the best. But with a bound sketchbook, it's a bit more dare I say, I can use a 0.5 lens with my oh that's so crazy. Wait, that's actually really cool. I'm gonna do that. Oh, you guys can't see. But now you can. I'm gonna start using my because I use my phone as my thing. I'm gonna start using a 0.5 lens for doing these right here, so I can sort of get a bigger view. Talking about fisheye lenses. It's not fisheye necessarily, but it is like sort of like an ultra wide. So that means I could also put it closer to me and it would work as well. Like that right there. I like that. That's cool. But yeah, something about like the bound sketchbook is definitely like more comfortable to me. And typically your bound sketchbooks are going to be a little bit like smaller than a spiral sketchbook, at least like all the ones that I've seen. It's like you can get spiral sketchbooks that are this tiny, but it's like at that point, like this entire section right here is taken up by the spiral, so you have a little bit less room to work with. Whereas this, it's like it's from seam to seam. Not seamless, mind you. This is the drawing tablet, by the way. 'Cause I don't have a computer. 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 I don't You can see my stuff right here. You can also see. Let me make sure this is working. So it is working. Perfect. Did you know you have perspective tools in Krita? Are there perspective tools in Krita? I saw that there was a ruler that you could use in order to like a parallel ruler. I watched a video on that. I saved it so I can look and use it later. But I thought that was really cool. But are there perspective tools in Krita? I'm gonna have to do some research on that. I need to move that blanket. Looks so bad right there. That's bothering me. Why is this even? Why is this even on the ground? Oh wait, you can see my outfit today. We're rocking the Adidas track pants. They're not tapered. They're not tapered. We're rocking the Adidas sweatpants, and we're rocking this wolf shirt right here. You can pause and read that if you want. I like to think of myself as like a wolf, like a lone wolf among a herd of sheep. A herd of sheep, a flock of sheep. I'm like a crazy wolf. Is a crazy wolf a thing? I'm like a psycho wolf. I need to get closer to the camera. I'm like a psycho wolf. Ugh. Sorry, I didn't mean for you guys to see my teeth. Very self-conscious about my teeth. Not self alpha. I'm the alpha baby. I'm not self-conscious about my teeth, but I am hyper conscious of like my teeth health. And I don't even have perfect teeth, so I don't even know why I need to maintain it, but it's like I have a lot of dental anxiety. In my comic, there's this idea for one of the I guess characters in it. It's a hunter, and it would be called the King of Teeth. And that sort of represents death, because whenever I think of like teeth, I think of like my own bodily mortality, and I'm like, oh, what's representative of death than like decay, like tooth decay. And like I think it would be really cool to like design like a sort of like this crazy like looking entity that sort of like was adorned with like just like a bunch of human teeth. I think that would be really like poignant for me, but I think it would also be like visually very interesting. That's something you're interested in. Sorry, I'm looking for a reference image. We're gonna be doing like a similar thing to what we just did, but we're gonna be doing it on the digital side here. We're gonna try and get 2 sketches in. That's gonna be my goal. We're gonna be trying to get 2 sketches in, mainly because I have obligations. I have obligations at 6 p.m. my time, and I need to be gone for that. So I don't want to take up too much time. That's why I did the stream a little bit earlier. Also, speaking of in circles, I've hit like a creative spigot here recently. I've been having a lot of like really cool like brainstorming sessions where I'm kind of just like thinking of like plot ideas. I'm thinking a lot about like character trajectories and sort of like the way that themes sort of align with the story. Like I don't want things to just come out of nowhere. It's sometimes it's the most unsatisfying thing in a narrative whenever things just kind of like emerge from nowhere, and like that can be done to great effect, but it's like I want it I want it to be satisfying, but like I say that, but like part of this story is about how like sometimes things are unsatisfying, and you need like I'm trying to like strike a chord or like a balance in that way. Oh my gosh. We're gonna reference image this. Use the local file, yes please. Hold shift. Tooth decay makes you think of death. It does. It does. And maybe not overtly, but it reminds me of like mortality. As depressing as that is. It reminds me of like that I am a like a creature, you know what I mean? Like I am a creature and I will like die one day. And like that's what I think about. I've thought that way for a long time, and that's sort of just like how like my like dental anxiety sort of makes me think. I feel like some people like and maybe it's not like a universal thing. That's why I think that maybe like it would work really well as like something that's a bit more unique. Why is my pen pencil? We're gonna go for like a blue. Well, if I'm doing like a sketch, no, if I'm doing like a sketch, like an underlying sketch, maybe I would want to do. Here's the decision making. Would I want to do a blue underlying sketch? Probably, right? Because I've seen some people. Yeah, we'll do that. Because when I do my line art layer, I mean, I could obviously. Why is my thing not? Where's my Command Z? Hotkeys. My hotkeys aren't working. Why are my hotkeys working? Give me a sec. Yeah, what the hell? Hell? Oh, now they're just working. I don't know. I don't know why. It may sound obvious, but try to imagine that you're the reader. That's what I do when I'm writing my comics with a script. That way you'll get the smooth transition. Yeah, yeah. I definitely. I feel like it can be easy to sort of like it's like oh like I know this story in and out. Therefore, it's like oh everyone reading it should know as well. And I've had that issue before, like in creative writing classes, where it's like where it's like the divulging of information needs to be subtle, uh but also needs to like make sense to someone who has never been introduced as well. And so I'm like I kind of think of it in the same way as like what's the word? I think of it similarly to like this is stupid coming from me, but like being like a video game developer, you know what I mean? It's like I want to teach my player how the game works without like being an overt tutorial, right? It's like okay, how do I do that? And so like what I'm thinking of, it's like okay, how do I teach my readers about the world that I'm making without just like giving the most heavy-handed exposition that you ever done did seen in your entire life. You're reading your draft, which in case is going over the script in Google Docs. Doing that on what I said is really good for a smooth transition. Wait, real get the smooth transition. And reading the draft, which in my case is just going over the script in Google Docs. Yeah, doing that on what I said is really good for smooth transition. You're right. Yeah, definitely like reading back. Like sometimes it can be like it can be very what's the word? It'd be very daunting to sort of like go back and sort of like reassess like yourself. You know what I mean? But ultimately it is necessary to be like, okay, where can I improve? Sometimes like self-reflection in that sense is like the hardest part, you know, and like maybe like sometimes it's like the hardest part is just like being like this just isn't good. Like I need to get rid of this. Like something here has to change. It's I know I got my picture plane going right here. And this bridge is sort of like and we're pretty far away from it, so perspective isn't going to take too much of a hold on it. But the bridge does seem to extend a good ways down this way. Maybe down like right there. We're going to be looking at the center line right here. Another I mean, I'm sorry. Oh, did I encounter a problem? Wait, what do you mean, did I encounter a problem? You can't wait. Oh, can you not see the canvas? Ah, darn it. I am so sorry. I didn't even realize I should be. Why is it not? See that now? That is an issue. That is an issue. I've done so much. Can you see that? Let me know. Wait, let me know if again if that disappears. I had it. That is frustrating. I'm sorry. So there's this in OBS you have that option to either window capture or to screen capture, and I guess just the window capture just decided to not work. You know what I mean? So I switched it to application capture. I don't know why, because that happened before, and like I switched from one to another, and I don't know why. It just all of a sudden decided to start and stop working. I don't know, man. We got some like leaves going on up and around here. And, like getting used to like doing like the squiggles and stuff is kind of hard. And it comes down to like right here-ish. I don't know if I want to do all these like flowers that are going on right here. I think I'm just gonna keep those sort of I'm gonna keep them just like over here. Okay. As for this is gonna be a difficult part right here. So it's like we have that right there. And the question is that do I want to? It seems as if this is maybe not completely flat with the picture plane, but like a little bit angled that way. So maybe we could say that this is gonna be like octagonal, which it might be octagonal, and it's gonna sort of be a shape like that right there. I'm trying to simplify as I go along to make this easier on myself. It's like be like that sort of shape right there, right? And then of course we have like the roof. It's gonna come along right there. And then it's gonna peak right here. Heck yeah. So another thing that I have ascertained with in circles is like, okay, in order for like for me, like in circles is a story that is about kind of like it's about stories in a way, at least in part. And so I was like, oh, crap, like I want to have like a way that you can get into the it's like how do we start this story. This is a very deep like tunnel that you can't really see the other side of it. No, 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 no. I'm lying. You can, you can, you can. It's like right here. Just the contrast is very low once you get into there. And yeah, it would be going. Yeah, it wouldn't be going that way. It would be going up slightly. Right there. Oh yeah, yeah, totally. I mean, okay. I normally do the stream a bit later just because I assume, at least like where I live, that most people don't get off of work until maybe around like 5 o'clock. So I give them more of an option. But if you feel like 4 o'clock is a better time, I can honestly switch to four. It pains me not at all to have to do it this early. Honestly, like kind of worked out better for me as well because like I normally like dread doing the stream when I get from home. It's like there's a lot of like downtime in between, sort of when I am uh like when I get home and I'm like, oh, well, I gotta wait around for the stream to start. So if hey, if you think it would be better, honestly, for me to start doing the stream this early, please let me know. Please let me know. Because I can do that. Or else I can try doing it and see like if it would work out for me as well. I like the idea of there being like some like grass here, sort of, you know what I mean? Speaking of circles, do you plan on making my first comics part 3? Yeah, the thing with that is going to be like the so part 2 was the pre-writing phase, and so sort of part 3 is going to be the sort of like concept art phase, or sort of like the idea generation, and I just have not started doing the visual aspect of it yet. I am still like so just like I'm in that like writer's mentality, you know what I mean? So it's like it's I just haven't started doing concept art yet. And that would include like things like character design and whatnot. Sort of everything I draw, like I draw things that I like want to draw. So I guess that would always contribute in some way towards that goal. You know what I mean? But like it's just currently as it is I just have not been. I don't know if I want to have a sketchbook in the same way I have like a dedicated journal for the comic, or what. Like I don't know. What do like so like when it comes to writing, I know how people like do their pre-writing, but it's like where do people normally do like their conceptual, like their visual conceptual phase? Do they just do like little sketches like this, right? I know, okay, I know there's like thumbnail sketches, and I know for comics specifically, you have layout sketches, like thumbnail layout sketches, like I've seen like how you can translate scripts to comic panels, so on and so forth, but it's like beyond that, like visual language, things like costuming, things like that matter, like a visual like identity, that's kind of beyond me at the moment. It's something I need to start doing research on. That would be awesome. I'm going to bring new viewers the time changing stream. Okay, yeah, totally. Oh, I don't know how I did that. Okay, yeah. We'll shoot for 4 next week if you think that that would be a good idea. I'd be super down to try that out. Okay, I think this is a good like base. So obviously what we're gonna need to decide is that like okay, like maybe I should like we know that this sort of goes like up here, right? And that sort of goes right there, but like we need to have a bit more like grass. And we see that there's like I like these shapes. See that that's going on down here. We got sort of how we would do that here. But yeah, for the comic, I like okay. Wait, you didn't really pay attention. What do you do research about? I think it can help you in that. Like a concept art. So like I follow concept artists and I see the complete concept art, but it's like where are they? Like where do people do concept art? Do they just have a sketchbook dedicated to just concept art? Like how does that work? It's like I don't know the workflow for that, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Because I can workflow the hell out of like the writing process, right? I know how to set like times for like writing. I know how to do all of those sorts of things, but it's like I don't know how to do that with concept art. Like what goals do you establish for yourself? Create a visual, create a world in a minute. Or you know what I mean? Set 5 minutes to create like a world. And it's like, okay, so like obviously like when it comes to the comic making process, like I'm a writer. and I am learning art. Like I am like learning the artistic process and how to be better at art so I can do that all myself. And so it's like I'm a bit lost when it comes to the sort of like art side of everything. And I have like books here. Like I have Scott McCloud's Understanding Comics. I have like how to draw comics the Marvel way. Like I have these amazing resources, but they're all about like theory and like I need like workflow. It's like I need to, yeah. For the concept art, the thing that matters the most is silhouette. I had a mentor who did sheets of silhouettes, like literally sheets. Okay, so by silhouettes you mean just like okay, so imagine I was doing this sketch right here. It's like, okay, all of this is blacked out, and it would just be like the silhouette. Is that what you mean? Because if so, that makes a lot of sense. You know what? That does make a lot of sense. I feel like I could garner that, but like that's how you would like train for like doing the visuals. So instead of like saying like it's like okay, I'm gonna like do all this meticulous designing, it's like okay, I'm gonna start out with doing just the silhouettes, and we're gonna run through like a ton of them, and I'm gonna pick the ones that I like the most. So it's like you're doing like thumbnail sketches, but like even more. It's like you're doing thumbnail sketches, but even more simple than that. Is that what you mean? Because that's very interesting. I like the I feel like I like that quite a bit. Okay, I need to see how this pen looks. I think 7 pixels is going to be good for this. Of course, I want to make the black a bit blue because that's fun. Turn that opacity layer down. Also, I'm very jealous that you have a mentor. By the way, because I don't have a mentor. My mentor is c'est moi. Okay, I need to bring this up to 10. And my opacity for this layer is I'm drawing in the wrong layer. That's what's happening on. Okay, we're locking this layer right here. Okay, there we go. I think that's good. We're leaning more towards the character silhouette. Oh yeah, the first thing the brain sees is gonna be symbolic, but also that applies to environment too. Yeah, okay, yeah, you're right. So yeah, when I was thinking of like Ulysses, it's like he is. I'm doing right here. He kind of has sort of like he wears like a poncho. I don't even know what I'm drawing here. He wears like a poncho. So I was thinking when I was thinking of like his silhouette, he has like this sort of like triangular shape going on right here, right? So whenever I think of like Ulysses, he he's got this thing going on, and of course like hands can poke out. They have spears, so it's like his little brigade, they have spears, but sort of this is like what I was thinking whenever I was thinking about like drawing him. And it's like, so if you saw him from like a below view, he would sort of like have a he like, and I think ponchos are like so cool. So it's like I don't know, I think it would be really cool to like have this like it's not like a I don't even know what happened right there with the straight line. So it's like it's not even like it's almost like a cape, but it's got a bit more of like a stark silhouette. So it's like if you saw him from like the bottom, like that's kind of how he looked, or if like you saw him from the top, he'd sort of like be like a little triangle. That's kind of like what I was thinking of for Ulysses. And I've given a lot of thought to like him visually, but maybe not so much other characters. Start inking. So I don't know. You're gonna hear me say this a lot. I don't. Maybe I am. The mentor was fine. I was saying it didn't help, but honestly, you don't need it. It's just expensive. Yeah. that's why I honestly I did not go into like I didn't go to school for art necessarily. Well, I went for art. I went for like like literature, which is pretty much just art. So we know I did that obviously, but I think there's more since there's like a little negative space right here. We can sort of do like little grass bits right here. Um, I'm fully content with the idea that it's like, okay, I am not going to maybe be learning as much as I could from like an accredited institution or like by like paying a ton of money for someone to teach me. Like I can like teach myself like I can teach myself with some discipline. Or at least that's the idea is that like I can do that, and that's harder, and that's harder on me because it's like again it's like I don't it's like what do you even do sometimes it's that's a I'm okay with that. I'm okay that I'm gonna like struggle, like honestly, like I really I enjoy like the learning aspect of everything. Is it hard sometimes? Yeah. Sometimes do I feel like I'm like directionless? Yeah. But like, you know what? Who doesn't feel like they're directionless sometimes? So it's like I'm gonna struggle if I'm gonna struggle with something, let me struggle like to create something. You know what I mean? Though if I could go back in time, I don't know. If I could go back in time, I would try and like take like actual art classes alongside my my bachelor's degree. That's probably what I would do. Okay, so here is the issue that I'm gonna run into. It's gonna be line quality. It's not a terrible line. It's almost a good line. I kind of regret it because when I think about it, I'm just doing art as a hobby. I'm not trying to work at Marvel or anything. Yeah, yeah, I get that. Like, I totally get that sentiment. Um, whenever I think of like doing like art, because I want to do it like professionally, like for myself, obviously, like that's the professionalism that like I'm aiming for. Like, I always tell myself it's like I don't want to work for like Marvel or something. You know what I mean? Like I'm not I'm learning I'm trying to learn not like how to like work in an industry. I'm trying to learn how to like work for like my own creative desires. So like sometimes I think that I'm I'm kind of okay that I like am trying to do things myself because it's like I don't need to like build a resume for anyone. The only resume I need to build is like the stuff that I make. Wait, I can do this. I keep on shifting in my chair and my posture is awful. You can tell. I can just do this. Why don't I just do this? This would be easier. We're gonna be using undo a bit here for this. What is going on there? Is that alright? Is that good? That's fine. That's fine. That's good that you find yourself struggling and making mistakes. You can spot the mistake or anyone else in the Discord, I guess, will give you a check. Yeah, and that's why like I'm like I feel very like excited about the Discord is because like I know that or I'm hoping to create an environment where we can like give each other like a constructive feedback. Um yeah, I'm just looking to find like I would like for us to be able to like help each other. And sometimes like of course I don't catch certain things, so it's like I would want someone to like point something out to something out to me because like I can get very myopic I'm sure we can all get very myopic. I don't like that line. That's a bit better. I gotta get in the habit of like just doing this to my canvas because I'm gonna strain myself by doing it in other ways. Yeah. That's not a good trajectory. Yeah, that's fine. So but like if you're ever like, this guy beats himself up too much, because like I want to, in a way, it's like I want to be harsh on myself. Well, one, because it's like I feel like I'm always gonna have like imposter syndrome no matter what. And part of it is also just like I know I need to sometimes like I need to be a critic to myself because it's like if I'm just like, oh, I'm the best, like I'm the shit, like if I'm constantly just like, yeah, I am the greatest, uh, like I make no mistakes, then it's like I'm gonna run into some issues later down the road. Finding it very difficult right here to get these like really fine lines. Maybe that's because I need to be like zoomed in. Like, do I need to be zoomed in a bit more? That's cool. The lines look so clean though. That looks so nice. Um, yeah, like that. Like I want that to be black. Maybe I don't need to go for like cleanness, but I need to go for like sort of just okay, yeah, I need to be inking the way that I would ink like in my sketchbook. But it's like now I have the tools to sort of like do things a little bit differently. So like maybe I can get like a slightly cleaner result. That is an awful line. I know there's also a stabilization feature on Krita for brushes. I wanna get the tool set like done first before I wanna like learn the tool set a bit more before I get too comfortable. Probably be able to see like the inside of that slightly, right? Like that right there. This is very rough. Um, I'm gonna do this just because I feel like it'd be fun. It's not fun. What the heck? See, like the pressure sensitivity for the pen I've been messing around with. Sometimes I feel like the pressure sensitivity is too high, but then I'm like, oh, it's way too low. And that was a little scribble. This could also be like a very good use for the parallel ruler. If I were working in real life and I was just like doing a little sketch, probably wouldn't be using a parallel ruler though. For this, if I were in the sketchbook, I probably would not be hatching. I'd probably just be doubling up the line, maybe making it a bit thicker. Like I would be doing like this instead. So if you gotten into Drawbox in the first lesson, instruction talks about how it's okay to make mistakes on spotting that helps you improve, and explain why that's a good thing. Just a quick reminder: don't be so hard on yourself while it's happening. Yeah, yeah, you're right. Speaking of making mistakes, I'm gonna make a mistake, and I'm gonna black this out. But yeah, you're right. Uh, I do agree. Like, okay, so there's being a perfectionist to the point where it like it is an actual like detriment to like your progress. It's like where you get like paralyzed because it's like, oh, I don't want to make a mistake. But then it's also like, well, you need to make mistakes in order to sort of like get better in the future. So it's like, okay, so what do you do? So I think you're right. You're 100% right. It's like I need to be making calculated mistakes, but I also need to like not be hard on myself at the same time. Ah. And zoom out a bit more. Spent too much time on that. Uh, spent so much time getting that together, but I need to go back over here and sort of just do this. I'm gonna differentiate this foliage from the one that was over there. I don't know if that works. Like a little bit messier down here, you know? And I don't want there to be like a straight line here. So I'm thinking it's like, okay, so like, see, we're running into the issue of it's like, okay, how do we, if I'm gonna like turn the paint layer off, it's a little awful, but we're lacking a lot of like texture, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna try something after this and we'll see if it works or not. And it's something I've been wanting to try because I think it would work. It actually would work nicely. But we're gonna try and do some like some blocking layers, and we're gonna try and like do some like coloring, you know what I mean? Or not like coloring, but like we're gonna try and do something a bit different. Oh my! I need to start. If I want to draw straight lines, I just need to tell myself. I need to rotate the canvas. And see, like you have like this thing right here, and I guess I could like draw it ever so slightly. It's like I mean, we are gonna see the bottom of it since it is above our horizon line, but it's like how much of it like really matters for this shape? Well, it matters that the line is up here. Oh my word. Might sound random, but I saw a video where you mentioned a comic called Nanjing the Burning City. I read it because of your vid. Credit to you and your art style. It gives me the same vibes. I'm glad that you read that. Yeah, I got it right here, actually. Yeah, Ethan Young is an amazing artist. If you, I don't know if, like what copy you have, but in the back of my copy here, I don't know if you read. You could probably you might have read it online if you read it online. He has some like I don't know if you can see it. He has little thumbnail sketches. When we're talking about like concept art, like this would be something that like I could probably do. But compositions is definitely where he's at, and I love the way he like draws characters and everything. But yeah, he's definitely he. Oh, thank you. Take it as a compliment. Thank you. he he's definitely a big inspiration when it comes to sort of like pen and ink. It's sometimes it's a bit too clean for my liking, but like I like the level of stylization. I like sort of like the bold. He You can tell he uses like a brush pen, some form of a brush pen, because he has these like wobbly like varied lines. And it looks like amazing. He uses other pens, obviously, but like he has a very amazing sense of like it's like cinematic, and I love like how cinematic this story is. It's not my favorite story from beginning to end, but like the art is definitely a big stand. You bet you didn't think I'd have that on standby, did you? I do, but I did. Yeah, it's he like I appreciate an artist that can like tote the line between like graphic. My pen sensitivity is being off wonky. I appreciate an artist that can toe the line between like graphic and and realistic at the same time. You know what I mean? Okay, there goes my pen sensitivity is back to normal. But thank you. That's a very nice thing for you to say. I would hope that someone felt that I could emulate a style. I'm very what's the word? This is all grouped up. You know what? That's the I don't want to do too much of that. I wear like my influences on my sleeve. I'm always gonna be like honest, or it's like okay, who is it that I am who is it that like I'm inspired by artistically? It's like I'm reading Vagabond right now. I like Takiko Inoue. Um, Again, I read Ethan Young. I like his art. I like Mobius, French French comic artist. This is I'm doing this too dark over here, aren't I? Yeah, it's starting to get a little distracting. Yeah, I like Mobius. I like Kim Jong Gi. Rest in peace, my man. Yeah, I like Kim Jong Gi. Um, I'm not gonna act like I don't like try and like steal some people's styles sometimes, because I definitely do. I think Ethan Young was one of them. I did some like studies of him about a year ago. Maybe I need to do some more studies from him. I wanna give this roof some texture, so I'm gonna do a little. Try and do some hatching. One thing I like about see those are not very clean lines, but that's okay. One thing I do like about sort of like the digital look is like it is very clean, even when it's like messy. Like I'm still getting like it still feels very clean. Like I kind of like that. I think that's kind of cool. Should ask earlier when you were doing traditional, but could you do something like how to hatch wood 101? It's not that I'm struggling with it. It just feels like I could learn a lot from you. Oh, you mean just like texturally? Like if like it were like a tree or like a plank? Because yeah, I could do that. I could do something like that. Would you prefer it as like a stream or like a video? Because like honestly, like I have my video ideas, but it's like if you would if like you think it would like work as like a long form video, I can look into making that happen. 100%. Um, I'm gonna move this down here. Sketch. I want to do. We're gonna do some shape blocking. We're gonna do some shape blocking. You know what? I might not do two sketches. I might not do two sketches of inking from this just because I'm about to start messing with some like layering stuff, and I don't know how long this is gonna take, if I'm being honest. So bear with me. What is this? I had a paint layer here that I didn't do anything with. Yeah, I just had a random paint layer. You were doing a stream where you hatched birch and it looked, oh, and it looked good. Oh, like that? Yeah, I can definitely do a stream like that. I'm not an expert, obviously, so I don't want to gear you up for like disappointment. Because I'm definitely not uh perfect when it comes to doing texture work like that. But I like inspirations for me are like whenever I'm like doing like wood. Frank Lohan is a big one, and he has this. Oh my gosh. We'll okay. How about this? We'll do a stream where we go over sort of like different ways to like texture like wood. And we can use Frank Lohan as sort of like being the what's the word? As being like the guy to to like listen to when we're doing that. We like, do you think that would, or I don't know, you know what I mean? Do you think that would be good? I think that would be good. I think that would work. Um, I'm gonna do this. We're gonna drop a gray. We're gonna drop a gray like a midtone like that right there. He has this one technique that I've used before where he draws wood and it was like amazing, and it's like it has like such like depth. You'll draw along, yeah, we can. That's so nice. That's so nice. I'm very happy that there are people like you who are like wanting to that are wanting to like draw along with me. That makes me feel very happy, so thank you. um yeah, Frank Lohan has some really cool technique stuff in in his books. uh so we can use that as like a base for like how we do stuff, and it's like I'll give my own little tidbits on like things that I look for whenever I'm like drawing, whenever I'm like doing stuff. I'm strategically trying to block out the sky behind this. This is one thing that I want to do with like even like with my normal sketches, but like this is something that I can do with like any drawing, is that I can do a very clean, very fine halftone layer and like get really good like negative spaces, and it's just gonna look so good without like doing a lot of work like that already. Like that looks so cool. That looks so graphic, and we haven't even really done anything. Why don't you fill it with white with the bucket tool? Do you mean the do you mean the square that we did here? um I would have done white, but I there's not a lot of there's not too much white. I probably could do that, couldn't I? Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go down my line of reasoning right here. There's more. The reason I did the gray was just because like I wanted the midtone in there, because there's more midtone here I feel than there is like background like this right here. Another reason why I went for like the eraser instead of like white, like doing like white and then doing a bucket tool in the middle, is because I'm going to take this layer and I'm gonna alpha lock it, and then I'm gonna create a layer. I can't remember if it's above or below it, but I'm gonna create an alpha lock of it so I can only do like my stuff within the confines of what I have drawn here. And I think if I did white, then that would register as still being a part of that, and then that would in turn still allow me to color outside the lines, and I don't want to have to worry about that as much. So I'm trying to take precautions before when I get to that point, because like this right here is like technically alpha locked. It has a like a clip mask, I guess is what you would call it. um And this isn't gonna be perfect up here. I don't want to try and make it be 100% perfect. But yeah, the reason I didn't do a fill tool is because I wanted to clip mask it with the alpha log things. I wanted to do all of that, prepping it for later. I think. Oh, the way I erased it, you can just fill the white to save time with the windows. Wait, the way I erased it? What do you mean? You can fill it with white to save time with the windows? I'm so confused. I'm confused on what you mean by because this is a new layer. You know what I mean? I'm just a little confused, obviously. But it's like that's like the layer below it, so it's like I couldn't like fill it with white because this is it would just fill the entire thing. If that's what you, I don't. I'm sorry. I'm not playing obtuse just to play obtuse. Again, I'm still like I don't know all like the amazing little shortcuts. What you're saying is probably more effective. I'm just not picking up on it. Yeah, we could have filled this layer with white, the layer where you have the line art. I could have filled it with white. Oh, you mean like I could have just filled like that with white? Yeah, yeah, I could. Yeah, okay. I see what you mean. I see what you mean. Yeah, I could have. I would have had to have went in and make sure that I didn't have any gaps in art. I mean, not that I would. It doesn't look like I have any gaps right there, but yeah. I see what you mean now. That was just a preference thing. Honestly, I kind of I could have did it that for that right there, but I don't know. Something about me was like I need to keep it all in one layer. It's like I need to have a line art layer, and that can only be line art. You know what I mean? So that's where like my headspace was at with that, at the very least. But also, it'll make it easier because if I go and like do clip mask stuff right here, it would if I didn't have the erasing on this layer, I could potentially color into this right here. Getting a phone call from somebody. I hope that's not messing up my thingy here. I'm not. All right, say it with me, everybody. Stop calling me. Leave me alone. I don't want to talk to you. Actually, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Also, another reason why I'm like being so obtuse with like the layering is because I want to get into like a workflow mindset. You know what I mean? Where it's like I don't want to like I don't want to like laissez-faire it, you know what I mean? It's like I want to if it would cuz it would make sense for this right here to like do like a bucket fill, but like I don't want to have to like I want to keep it consistent across projects too, if that makes sense. Like we can just do this. Is there like a bucket erase tool? I don't know. There's like a bucket erase tool. Hopefully this like erasing will be slightly easier. I like the squareness of like the eraser and like I don't think there's a brush that's like as square as this eraser is. I could probably make one. I know in Krita here there is a tool to make your own brushes. Maybe I could just follow someone's tutorial or download a brush pack, but something is so satisfying about just carving away at like these like dark bits. This feels okay. This feels so professional. Like I feel like I'm like a colorist. It doesn't look like the underlying like sketch and everything doesn't look really good, but like I can't help but like feel kind of professional like doing here. Like, yeah, I'm just carving away at my little shapes, my blocks, my colors. I can see like how this would be very useful for like getting good like silhouettes, good graphic shapes. Like doing this whole like erasing business. Feels very versatile. Versatile. Oh, oh, that's gonna. That's why you shouldn't. You shouldn't. Okay, I'm learning. This is a learning experience. Don't do everything in one brushstroke. Do it all in smaller brushstrokes, in case you need to undo something like that right there. I could also just lower the brush size just ever so slightly. This is fun though. I want to do this with like uh other sketches that I do in my sketchbook. Once I can like learn to scan them properly, I want to sort of like import them in and sort of like do this to them, sort of like play around with like this would be considered coloring, I guess, but like play around with sort of like midtones and whatnot. Like that would be very fun to do. Okay. See that already that to me like that looks so cool. Imagine if there was a better sketch under this. If there was like a better sketch underneath this, like this would look amazing. But like that, like already to me, that looks like super neat, super neat. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to do this. I'm going to. Can I create a group? Do I need a group? Quick group. Quick clipping group. Mask layer. What did I do? What did I just do? Clipping group 6. There's a group there. There's a paint layer. I see. Mask layer. Does that do anything? No, that does not do anything. Maybe instead of, okay, I need to keep it simple. I need to keep it really simple. I'm just going to, instead of doing that, I am just going to create, I'm just going to create, I'm just going to alpha lock it. Okay. And I'm going to, we're going to, oh my gosh, we're going to do this instead. Take that break. See, this is what I was wanting to do here. Oh, that looks so cool. Oh, that would be so cool for like cast shadows. Some like really cool cast shadows. Sorry, people keep on calling me. I need to give me a sec. One moment, please. Apologies for that. Okay. Oh, that looks so cool. Oh, I'm thinking of like all like the uses that I could use for that. I think that would be something. Okay. But we don't, do we want to go black? No, I don't want to go black, but I want to go something in between this and this. So we're creating another. Another tone. Yeah. Yeah. That's gonna look really good. It's gonna look really good. Do I need this here anymore? I probably don't, because it's just gonna be that right there. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna pull up the reference image. Where is it? What's the reference layer? Is it that? Where'd the layer go? Where did the layer go for the reference image? I'm assuming it's that. Is it that? Where are you? No, that's the... Hold on, wait a minute. What in the world happened to the... There was am I... Tree indentation. Am I losing it here? Do we see the reference layer there? Where did it go? I see it right there. Don't think I'm crazy. Vector layers. Because that right there is line art. Paint layer. Random layer. I don't want to delete it in case it has something important. And then another paint layer in the background. Oh, that, you know what? We're learning a new program. That's one of the growing pains, is like I'm just like I gotta recognize, I don't sometimes maybe I just don't know what the hell is going on. Maybe I don't know what the hell is going on. Okay. Well, anyways, looking at that right here, we see that there's some darkness. We're gonna start there. There's a lot of dark down in here. Yeah. So we know there's a lot of darkness down here, so we're gonna do that. So we're gonna go ahead and start. Maybe make it a bit smaller. Right down there. Big swaths. I feel like this is such a, I mean, I know I already said it. I said it again. It's such a game changer though, to be able to like do this specifically. Like this is just so cool. I'm thinking specifically I have my composition book. By composition book I mean like my actual like composition, my framed ink book, and that book sort of like shows off like little graphic tools, like or it doesn't show off graphic tools, but like it's got this vibe to it where it's like you have yeah, oh, it's so cool. It's so cool. But yeah, it gives off this vibe where you have like big thick areas of like darkness and everything, and it looks very like digital and sort of like clean, but like also we can do we can we can like we can make it a little messy over here. Mr. Did you say Framed Ink? Yeah, Framed Ink by Matthias or Matthew Matthias Mestra. I can't remember his full name. Marcus Matthew Mestra. Yeah, Framed Ink. There's I believe he has another book called, was it Frame Perspective? Might seem like a very useful book. Wait. Oh. Yeah, Framed Ink. Let me pull it up right here. So this book right here, whenever I think of like composition, this is sort of Oh, okay. So you know what it is. Yeah. To anyone watching, this book right here, Framed Ink. Whenever I think of like amazing like composition and learning it, it's this right here. I've taken a lot of pointers out of this book right here. And that's why like I'm so like obsessed with like composition. I think composition is so underrated. Um, is like so important in storytelling, and it's like I think like good composition separates like a good story from like a bad story. And I can like I've sort of like started to like get an eye for it. I can tell whenever like certain like shots like in like well, let's say like a movie or like animation or something, I can be like, oh, someone like spent a lot of time like thinking of like the composition for that. You know what I mean? Does that need to be? This needs to be like dark underneath here. You know what I mean? It is such a very good book. So eye opening. I say like eye opening, like it like changed my life forever. It didn't change my life forever, but uh, we're fudging the perspective on that a little bit. I did do a good job doing that right there. I think also maybe we should darken the roof a little bit just because it is going to be a bit darker. I know it's got the hatching, but the hatching is there for like texture. Oh, it feels so cool. I love the digital. There's these people I follow on YouTube, but they're called Bad Ink Studios, and they make comics, of course, but also they make a lot of little YouTube shorts. I assume they're like TikToks as well, but they make these like shorts of like comic, a lot of lettering videos, but also like sometimes they'll do like coloring videos and stuff, and they're also like an inspiration in a lot of ways. You know what I just realized? You know what I just realized? In my line art layer back here, there would have to be there would have to be some stuff back here. I'm so stupid. So stupid. There we would be looking at this, right? Like this would be completely black. See, like little things like this, I am completely just like oblivious to sometimes. I know we were going off of a reference image, but like I wasn't being very smart with my copying of the reference image. Yeah, there would okay, so yeah, there would be like an area back there where you could see the arches like poking through, especially since you're like looking up on it. Um, and same for like these in here, right? It's like those would be maybe not completely. No, but maybe it would be a bit darker, like right there. Maybe keep it a bit messy. It's not perfect, but you know, it works. Let's go back to our basic brush. Pick there, pick that. Oh, speaking of composition, you took a class about 2 years ago on making comics and covered something you might want to check out. It's called The Rule of Thirds. I think it'll help you. Oh, I know about the Rule of Thirds already. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be like pedantic. I do know what the Rule of Thirds is. It's when you have it's when you separate your frame into like a grid, and it's you can either have focal points that are placed in these little, they can either be placed on these lines right here, here, or they can be placed on the intersection of these vertices. Very good. compositional thing. And I see okay, so there's a thing with a lot of people. They say that all you really need is the rule of thirds, and I'm bound to agree in a very like broad sense. Like, yeah, I do think that rule of thirds probably is going to be your best compositional tool because it's the one that reads most easily, that most people will maybe not consciously pick up on, but they will like recognize it as being they will recognize it as being like a good like composition. It's like maybe they won't be able to describe exactly how it makes them feel, but like it works, and you see it like literally everywhere. Take any famous shot from a movie, it probably uses thirds in some way. Whenever you're dealing with like in movies, whenever you're doing with shot reaction shots, like if you're doing with like two people talking, it'll often use the rule of thirds. You'll have like one person on the left side of the frame and another person on the right side of the frame. There's a show called Mr. Robot, and it has some very good frame composition. But the reason I bring that up is that they use the cinematographer for that show. I can't remember if it was San Ismael. But anyways, uses will put characters in like a third of the frame. They'll be like facing away from like the center of the frame, which is very odd compositionally, because typically you want to leave enough headspace for your characters in your shots. But that show does like something very, very, very interesting, and sort of like does the opposite of that, and it creates a very like intense sort of like uneasy feeling sometimes. All right. Again, I'm not trying to be pedantic, but like, oh yes, actually I know everything, because like obviously I still have a lot to learn. Okay. Um I don't we're gonna do sort of sorry to I know this might feel like I'm cutting it a bit short, but I know I said I have plans coming up here at 6, but it is currently 6 o'clock where I'm at. So therefore I am going to I'm gonna be cutting the stream off. I'm not just gonna like randomly cut it off, but we're gonna go ahead and end it after I be a little dumb and I sort of like fill in that right there. Does that work if I have it like that? No, we'll just leave that like that. Okay. Yeah, that is the drawing. I would have loved to have done more, but obviously we are constrained by time, and also I feel like I've been going for a long time now. But that is the final thing, and I'm glad to have played along with a lot of the. I'm glad to have played along with some of the tools that Krita has to offer, and of course I'm going to be looking towards those, looking for like different things that I can do in the software going forward. But I feel pretty good, and this was some good practice, and like I'm playing around with all of it, and it's starting to make a bit more sense, and I'm most importantly like I'm getting the ideas for it. But yeah, next stream will be next Saturday. We're gonna shoot for 4 o'clock again. If 4 o'clock is a good time, if you feel like it's a good time, then we'll do 4 o'clock. So in the meantime, I'll pop myself up to make myself a bit larger. Is that center? Thank you, Lizard. That's very kind. I do appreciate it. You like the wide angle lens? Wait, we got like the wide angle lens. But I'm glad. But I'm But okay, we gotta end it up. Okay. I appreciate everybody that has been watching. It has been a joy, and I hope that all of you will have some. You like the closing thoughts at the end of every stream. I have to say something. But yeah, thank you everybody for watching the stream. I had a great time. I feel like I learned a lot. um, about the digital art specifically. I plan to take everything that I learned here, and I want to sort of I want to make some baby steps as we're moving into the future. Like I know I'm not going to be making masterpieces right off the bat, but like I'm going to continue to practice in similar ways to what we were doing today. Um, and I'll improve and get better in the future. Um, Again, if you haven't, go ahead and check out the Discord. I'm gonna try and link it in the bio, not in the bio. I'm gonna try and link it in the description here. So if you're not in it, you can go and do that, and you can communicate with fellow artists. And I will be posting updates in that Discord and announcements. Um, Other than that, yeah. Um, I hope everybody has a great night. I hope that you all can get at least 10 minutes of drawing in a day. I'd say 10 minutes a day is good. It's better than zero. I'm going to shoot for, I try and get an hour every day. Sometimes I feel like I don't get an hour. I don't sit down and actually time myself, but like, I'm like, if I draw 30 minutes here, 30 minutes there, maybe it's like an hour. The only important thing is that you're remaining consistent, and just know that growth will come from that. Consistency is key because you will grow from doing something rather than doing nothing at all. So yeah. All right, I'm rambling a lot, so everybody have a good night. I'm gonna go and have some pizza. I'm gonna go have some pizza. So goodbye, everybody.